captain has now turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the in-flight entertainment.
Hello, my name is Paul Kamoyo. I'm 21 years old and I currently live in Melbourne, Australia. But before that I lived in
Mahe Seychelles, which is an island in the Indian Ocean.
Washington, D.C.
Austria and Vienna.
Australia on and off.
The USA.
Geneva, Switzerland in Europe.
Iran.
Munich to Germany.
States when I was young.
I've lived in Zimbabwe.
Caracas, Venezuela.
India.
Mexico City.
And Tokyo. And
From 12 to 19 I lived in India. And I'm a Diplobrat.
And I guess you figured I'm a Diplobrat.
I am a Diplobrat.
I'm a Diplobrat.
My dad works in the Indian embassy, so we move every 3 years. Yeah.
Clusterfuck of greedy animalistic intentions that you just can't seem to duck. I'm gonna go away and stay.
Now, what is a Diplobrat? Well, I guess I would define a Diplobrat as a diplomat's, not brat, but like their kid. So if you have a parent that's working in the embassy, then you're automatically a Diplobrat.
It's a luxurious life, to be honest.
the houses are enormous. And there's live-in staff that, work almost not 24/7, but full-time, and they do all the cooking and cleaning and looking after us.
When you're attending all those embassy meetings or parties, you feel more diplomatic, It's kind of, sophisticated and all.
Just that whole experience of just meeting people from everywhere and going to an international school and going to really fancy dinners and it's great.
You just get to know so many people. You get to see so many different parts of the world.
When you change countries and you leave everything you knew behind, everyone you knew behind, and go to a new place, you can, I don't know what the term for it is, reinvent yourself. Because there's no one there to call you on your bullshit. You can just sort of say, yeah, I was just like that back home.
For me, it's good because then I know that, it's not like I'm not running away from all those people, but I feel that, I am going to go to a different place later anyways, and, it always happens that, sometimes, it sometimes happens that the other place that I go to, when my dad is posted, I find better people.
How do you feel about airports and planes? What memories and emotions do they trigger? Yes, I love planes.
I've spent far too much time sitting in airports and sitting on planes. It's incredibly boring. It's something that anyone should avoid if they can.
I dislike traveling on planes. I dislike traveling just because it's time consuming, and I would feel that I could do something better during that time rather than just sit down on a plane.
Everyone's like, oh my god, 17-hour plane journey, you're gonna die. Like, are you kidding me? I love plane journeys. Like, seriously, I could go on a plane forever. I just love planes, and I love the fact that it was 17 hours. It was amazing. I love planes. I could marry a plane.
Well, the thing is, I've kind of grown up with a setting where I'm an international person. Now, I can't really describe where home is because I'm always constantly on the move.
For me, home, I was still confused. Like, if you asked me this a year ago, I would not know. But yeah, my home is India.
It's not a bad thing to not have a home. It just makes you more versatile.
I think you'd probably say they're the kids who've got the most exciting life, and exciting doesn't always mean good.
My dad comes home one day and says, we're moving to South Korea. I got all excited at first, but then when I sat down and thought about it, I'm just like, no, this can't be happening with my life. This can't be happening because, no, I just can't say bye.
Once you've kind of adapted to a place and when it's time to move along, that's one of the most painful things. But I learned from that. I think I managed my goodbyes and my hellos really well.
It didn't feel like something you should have to do. It didn't feel like, you know, you have these friends, you have this sort of social network, you have a neighborhood that you live in, a house that you like, and you just sort of told one day that in a couple of months you'll be gone. And it was, for the first couple of moves, really difficult.
If I'm saying goodbye to someone who I'm not going to meet for a long time, it will, deep down, it's really painful. But my facial expression, my physical expression is just going to be really blunt and dead. So I wouldn't be really crying or whatever.
I usually start crying, like not when we're saying goodbyes and house, you know, in the house when we're leaving the house, but like at the airport when we get out of the car and we're like putting our bags on the trolley in the cart and we're like going and we're like waving goodbye. Oh my god, that's when I like tear up. Yeah.
Well, we certainly know from lots of studies that the constant breaking of affectional bonds, and that is disrupting the process of attachment, which we see as very important in terms of human development, of getting on with other people, developing empathy, that if there are repeated experiences of broken bonds and attachments, that can change the personality and the ability to have ongoing, stable, intimate relationships for the rest of your life. I think certainly the experience of children who've had that happen many times is a cautiousness about friendships and perhaps a cautiousness about allowing themselves to become close to people to protect themselves from pain.
Honestly, life teaches us not to be possessive, not to be materialistic, not to attach ourselves with anything in life. I know it sounds very cold and negative, but life teaches us as being a Diplobrat that you have to move every 3 years, so you cannot get attached to a place, attached to friends, and then make a fuss about leaving. I do that still. Every 3 years I cry before leaving.
It has made me not clingy, I guess, because some people, I guess, are really clingy. And with me, I just accept the fact that people might move on.
I think they end up with possibly something that's a bit like a chronic homesickness for various parts of their life and various people in those places who they never really can access again. So perhaps they may be much more prone to a sense of loss and sadness.
I knew that it was never going to be the same way because I knew that all of my friends, everyone that graduated was going to move away to different colleges across the globe. So I knew that the Mexico City that I know was never going to be the same again. It was never going to be there for me if I'd ever wanted to go back. I knew that all my friends were not going to be there.
I do feel that, you know, what would happen in 2 years after I leave this person, would we be able to, you know, have the same relationship as we do now?
Quite often you'll leave a place and you'll say, oh, we'll keep in touch, and you do the phone call thing, and in the beginning you talk maybe once a week, and then it turns into once a month, then it turns into once a year, and then it just stops. And it's not that you necessarily need to keep that relationship going, it's just that's the way things happen.
Facebook and Skype with my friends and hoping I was in India. Really messed up times when I used to cry and be like, I really want to move, but I can't act like I'm sad in front of my dad. Sometimes, even though sometimes I fail and it comes, just I tell my dad, like, I hate how my life, like, I have to be away from people who love me, and here where nobody loves me, I have to try and make myself loved, which is like, that's not my goal.
Dandelion children, it's a Scandinavian term, and it's to describe children who are remarkably resilient, who, like the dandelion seeds, more or less just blossom wherever the seeds tend to fall, as opposed to an orchid which is a spectacular and beautiful bloom but needs a great deal of protection and hothousing in order to thrive. I suspect that some children, the dandelion children who are children of diplomats, really thrive no matter where they are, but the ones that are the more orchid-like might find that the constant change is difficult for them.
No one can have everything. There's always something that you lack, something that you have that others don't.
The thing is, I've kind of gone sick of moving and trying to adapt to a new culture, and so I think I just want to settle down for some time.
I like the fact that I move around. There are definitely advantages to living in one place, but those advantages are not something that I necessarily need.
Life is all about challenge. It's all about making yourself stronger, I guess. Challenges make you stronger. And I think I'm a way stronger person today. And again, I have way more broadened perspectives. I can see the world through my eyes, and I'm very happy I can see the world the way I do.
The captain has now switched on the fasten seatbelt sign as we are now descending. Thank you for flying Diplobrat Airways. We hope to see you soon.